Evan Hale was a man who lived quietly in a small apartment above an available tailor shop. He never considered himself fashionable, nor did he follow any particular style. His life was simple, almost too simple. His neighbors often joked that he was practical, not stylish, a man who never chased any trend or tendency that others seemed to tend toward. Evan's clothing choices were always current, but never because he cared about popularity or the vogue of the season. He wore what was clean, comfortable, and straightforward. Yet in the city around him, where influencers attempted to prevail with their own ideas of beauty, and where the prevalence of curated images shaped the prevailing culture, Evan remained unchanged, a quiet observer. But everything changed on the evening he inherited the Jade wardrobe. The wardrobe arrived unexpectedly, an antique model made of dark wood, decorated with carvings of mythical birds and an icon of a rising sun. It had belonged to Evan's late uncle, a man the fashion world once treated as an idol for his unusual designs. Inside the wardrobe, Evan found objects wrapped in layers of silk, pieces of luxury crafted with almost luxurious care, fabrics that felt extravagant under the fingertips, and in a small velvet box, a piece of jewelry. A single jewel, a glowing green gem carved from real jade. Each item seemed created not just to dress a person, but to adorn, to serve as an ornament, to embellish whoever wore it. He also discovered robes with detailed embroider patterns, tools for hairdressing, and jars labeled pigment and dye. The wardrobe was not just furniture. It was a museum, a story, a secret. Among the items lay a sealed envelope. Inside was an invitation to an exclusive masquerade known as the Midnight Assembly, an event his uncle had attended annually. Guests were expected to arrive wearing a veil, a crafted costume, or even something resembling cosplay. Not childish imitation, but artistic transformation. Evan hesitated. He had never been the kind of man to fascinate people, yet something about the invitation seemed to fascinate him. He knew his clothing was decent, plain, harmlessly ordinary, but compared to his uncle's world, it felt almost indecent, as if he had been ignoring a part of life everyone else understood. So, for the first time, he chose something different. Evan selected a robe with exquisite gold stitching. It moved with subtle grace, flowing around him with a graceful quietness he had never worn before. The colors carried an elegance so gentle, so elegant, it felt like wearing perfection itself. His appearance transformed. With a little cosmetics applied, just enough to soften the shadows of his face, he looked almost charming. Not handsome in the glossy commercial sense, but handsome in a way that suggested stories, that something inside him had finally woken. He layered pieces carefully, a robe, then a mantle, special clothing that felt ceremonial, not casual. He wondered whether the outfit counted as a uniform, a piece of identity he had never owned. Yet each garment felt right, more right than anything he had taken from his usual laundry basket or everyday wardrobe. For the first time in years, Evan felt like someone who had been hiding from himself. When Evan arrived at the masquerade, he saw people dressed in every kind of outfit: overall, overcoat, flowing robe, dramatic gown, soft sweater, tailored jacket, swirling skirt, even elaborate jeans with embroidered gemstones. And yet, even among such spectacle, people turned to look at him. There was something mesmerizing about the jade glow from the ornament pinned to his robe. It felt alive, as if responding to him. The room dimmed. Lanterns shimmered above like floating moons. Music hummed gently through the air, slow, graceful, echoing the feeling of walking through someone else's dream. But the deeper Evan walked, the more he sensed that the wardrobe had brought him here for a reason. Near midnight, an elderly woman approached him. She wore a veil of silver threads and carried herself with the steady confidence of someone who understood the world of hidden beauty. "You are Hale's nephew," she said softly. Evan nodded. "Your uncle was not merely a designer. He was a keeper, one who believed that clothing could reveal a person's truest self, not to decorate them, but to call out the part they had forgotten." She touched the jade ornament gently. "This gem responds to the wearer's honesty. It glows only when someone steps into who they were meant to be." Evan stared at the light, surprised. "Tonight," the woman continued, "the wardrobe chose you." As Evan moved deeper into the ballroom, he saw mirrors on the walls. Not ordinary mirrors, but ones that showed more than physical form. They reflected confidence when he felt uncertain, warmth when he hesitated, clarity when he doubted. He realized then, the wardrobe had not transformed him. It had simply removed the things he hid behind. This revelation was more powerful than any compliment or stare he received. For the first time in his life, Evan felt aligned, as if he had spent years wearing someone else's story and had finally stepped into his own. By the end of the night, people began approaching him, not because he was dressed extravagantly, not because jade glowed on his chest, but because his presence had changed. He listened to people's stories, helped adjust someone's slipping mask, gave sincere admiration to a nervous young guest whose costume was handmade. He had become someone prevailing not by force, but by gentle, quiet elegance. His uncle was right. Clothing was never about appearance alone. It was about expression, a part of the human story that everyone deserved to explore. When Evan returned home at dawn, he opened the wardrobe again. Nothing inside glowed or whispered. No invitations appeared. No magic unfolded. But something inside Evan had changed permanently. He no longer feared standing out. He no longer avoided expressing beauty. He no longer believed that elegance belonged only to the extravagant, the wealthy, or the famous. He understood now. Style was not a performance. It was a language, and he had finally learned to speak it. In the weeks that followed, Evan made small changes, choosing clothes with intention, adding subtle color instead of hiding behind neutrals, letting the presence of elegance become part of his daily life. He did not become an influencer, nor a designer, nor an icon. He simply became more himself. And sometimes, on quiet evenings, he opened the wardrobe, not to choose anything, but to remember the night when a jade gem taught him the meaning of self-recognition. Evan Hale, once invisible, now moved through the world with gentle confidence. Not dazzling, not extravagant, but graceful. And that, perhaps, was the wardrobe's greatest lesson of all.